Everyone talks about breaking up with them. But what happens when you are the one who initiates the split with an avoidant partner? The script usually flips, leaving you in an emotional landscape you never anticipated. Why is this breakup so uniquely disorienting? And what are the crucial steps you need to take to navigate this uncharted territory? You won't want to miss the insights that could change everything. Here's what nobody tells you about ending things with an avoidant. You probably expected relief, maybe even closure. Instead, you're hit with this weird mix of guilt, confusion, and second-guessing that feels heavier than the relationship itself. And the really mind-bending part? Your avoidant ex might suddenly seem more interested than they ever were when you were together. Stick around, because we're going to break down exactly why this happens, what it means, and what you need to do next. So you finally did it. You walked away from someone who kept you at arm's length, who never quite let you in, who made you feel like you were always asking for too much. And now? You feel worse than you did before. When you're the one who ends it, you don't get the closure that comes from being rejected. Instead, you're left holding all the responsibility, all the doubt, and all the what-ifs. Did I give up too soon? Was I being too demanding? According to attachment research, when you end a relationship with an avoidant partner, your anxious attachment system goes into overdrive. Your brain starts doing this thing called protest behavior. Anxious attempts to re-establish connection and security, even though you were the one who left. It's like your nervous system is saying, wait, we didn't get rejected, so this doesn't compute. If that just hit home for you, if you're feeling seen right now, go ahead and like this video. It tells me I'm on the right track and helps me know what's actually landing with you. Now here's where it gets really confusing. The moment you actually leave, your avoidant ex might start acting completely out of character. Suddenly they're texting, they want to talk, they're saying all the things you desperately wanted to hear for months or even years. Avoidants often experience something relationship experts have observed. When you were in the relationship, you represented a threat to their independence. Your needs felt like pressure. But the second you're gone, you become safe. They can finally feel their feelings for you without the fear of engulfment. This is why so many avoidants reach out after a breakup initiated by their partner. It's not that they suddenly realized your worth. It's that the distance restored their sense of safety. But this doesn't mean they've changed. It means the dynamic has changed. Real talk. I want to know what happened when you actually left. Did your avoidant ex reach out and suddenly seem different? What did they say or do that caught you off guard? Drop it in the comments, because I'm reading through all of these, and your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. One of the biggest challenges you're facing right now is guilt. You left someone who on paper didn't actually do anything terrible. They just couldn't meet your emotional needs. And somehow that makes you feel like the bad guy. Let me stop you right there. Emotional unavailability is a valid reason to leave. Research consistently shows that emotional disconnection is one of the strongest predictors of relationship dissatisfaction and dissolution. You're not asking for too much by wanting someone who can show up emotionally. But avoidants have a way of making you feel like your needs are the problem. They gaslight you into thinking you're too much, too sensitive, too emotional. And even after you leave, that programming stays with you. If you were hungry, and someone kept telling you that eating 3 meals a day was excessive, you'd eventually question your own hunger. That's what happens in relationships with avoidants. They recalibrate your sense of what's normal until you can't trust your own needs anymore. If that just gave you an aha moment, if you finally feel like someone gets it, hit that like button. It actually helps more people find this when they need it most. Right now, your avoidant ex is likely experiencing what happens when their attachment system reactivates. When you were together, they were minimizing closeness and connection. But now that you've left, their attachment system is waking up. Suddenly, they remember the good times, and might even feel genuine panic. Here's what you need to watch for. When someone with avoidant attachment experiences this reactivation, they're feeling the fear of loss, not a genuine desire for intimacy. The moment you come back, they'll likely slip right back into their old patterns of emotional distance. The mistakes you're probably making right now. Mistake number 1 is staying in contact too soon. Staying in contact with an avoidant ex right after you break up is like trying to lose weight while keeping ice cream in your freezer. You're testing your willpower every single day. When you stay in contact, you're giving them the best of both worlds without the work of a real relationship. Mistake number 2 is over-explaining your decision. The more you explain, the more you're inviting them to argue with your reality. Avoidants are masters at intellectual debate. They'll pick apart your reasons and make you doubt your experience. Mistake number 3 is going back too soon. Research on relationship reconciliation shows that couples who get back together without addressing underlying issues often find themselves in the same painful patterns. Why? Because nothing has fundamentally changed. The initial feelings wear off, old patterns resurface, and you're back to square one. Here's what you should be doing instead. First, implement a strict no-contact period. I'm talking at least 60 to 90 days of zero communication. This isn't about being mean. During this time, your nervous system needs to recalibrate. You've been in chronic activation, constantly scanning for signs of rejection. No contact allows your system to settle down. Second, get ruthlessly honest about what you were actually getting from that relationship. Not what you hoped it would become. What did you actually experience? Write it down. Make a list of specific moments when you felt unseen or unimportant. This grounds you in reality when the rose-colored glasses try to creep back on. Third, you need to understand your own attachment style. If you're drawn to avoidance, there's a reason. Usually, it's because you have an anxious attachment style, and you're unconsciously recreating a dynamic where you have to work for love. This pattern likely started in childhood, and it won't change just because you left this relationship. Look into therapy with someone trained in attachment theory. Read books like Attached by Amir Levine or Wired for Love by Stan Tatkin. The goal is to become secure in your own attachment. Breaking up with an avoidant is hard because it requires you to trust yourself over their narrative. They've spent the entire relationship telling you that your needs are the problem. Now you have to unlearn that programming. In your next relationship, when you express a need, your partner should respond with curiosity, not defensiveness. When you want to talk about something difficult, they should lean in, not shut down. That's not a fantasy. That's what secure attachment looks like. If your ex does reach out, ask yourself, are they acknowledging their patterns and taking concrete steps to change? Are they respecting your boundaries? Are they taking responsibility for how they made you feel? When you do this honestly, the answer becomes clear. Breaking up with an avoidant is about you reclaiming your worth. It's about deciding that you'd rather be alone than feel lonely in a relationship. It's about trusting that wanting love, connection, and emotional presence isn't asking too much. It's the bare minimum. The road ahead isn't easy. You'll have days where you miss them so much it physically hurts. But on the other side of that discomfort is a version of you who knows her worth, who doesn't shrink herself to make others